Hey guys, your Grandpa John coming back with another Diablo Immortal video. This video is going to be for the nerds at heart that are all about let's be competitive and get organized. This is going to touch the soul of everybody who runs a guild in Diablo Immortal, is thinking about running a guild in Diablo Immortal, wants to control their warband, wants to really optimize and maximize their efficiency when running and operating a warband and a guild in Diablo Immortal. I think this video is going to be for you, and I'm going to explain to you why. All right, so like I said, this is for all those nerds out there like myself who are all about the Excel spreadsheet. That's right, I'm calling you and I'm talking to you. What should you be aware of when kind of thinking about running a guild in Diablo Immortal, and what should you really be prepared with? Let's talk about resources. Let's talk about a few different helpful tips, tricks, pointers that we've kind of noticed when running our own guild that can make your life a lot easier and make things a little bit more beneficial for you, the guild leader, as well as maybe to improve your guild that you're currently in that's struggling with organization. So first things first is you want to become a part of these shadows, right? Because you want to go for immortal. Now, when you become immortal, you get to have a lot of fun. You get to do a lot of things. However, to get to that point, you got to go through these activities. You got to go and you got to do the Shadow War. You have to do the Rite of Exile. You have to win the Rite of Exile to become immortal. Now, just because you win 1 week does not mean you're guaranteed to hold it for multiple weeks. And just because you compete in it does not mean you automatically get to compete again the week after. Sometimes this takes preparation. For example, if we go to our guild, which is the Aftershock United Gold Guild, which I'm helping run, you will see that we are on the Reckoning stage here, and this is actually the last tier of the Immortal fight. So we went past the showdown, we've passed Gathering. Last weekend we were unable to compete, and this coming weekend we're ready. We're going to be fighting for the Immortal with our good friends Aftershock United Prime and Silver. So this is going to give us a fighting chance. It's going to give us 3 clans. Now that could be a tip for you when going for immortal. You definitely want to make allies. You want to make sure that you are partnered with other dark clans that you could potentially utilize. So you'll notice that you have a bracket here. Make sure that you kind of pick maybe not a guild that's in your bracket, because that could be embarrassing, but make sure that you go and you pick a top 10 guild or a guild in general that you're willing to work together with. This is all about community. This is all about working together to kind of win, because at the end of the day, when you get to this activity and you go to Rite of Exile, Rite of Exile is literally a showdown, and it'll be a 3-on-3 battle between everybody who won their bracket. So this is every bracket group, a group of 3 per group fighting together. You can see here that we have 7 in ours. So if we have Gold, Silver, and Prime all win theirs, that gives us 3 of the same allied guilds fighting for the same thing. And when you become immortal, you get to select 2 other guilds to become immortal with you. Hence the interval of 3. That's going to be your first tip for preparing for Shadow Wars, preparing to be immortal, and kind of what to do to group together to get prepared to take on and become immortal. Now, you may ask yourself, John, I understand that. I failed to understand, or what resource did that give me that helped me understand how this is going to work? Now we're on to the next part. This is the fun part that the nerd in you is going to really get excited about. So you have all this Reckoning. You have to get to the Gathering stage, you get into the Rite of Exile. You have the Showdown, which then gets you get into the last fight. You guys all pretty much know this. You know that you get a damage boost once you finish the Showdown. If we were to complete all of our contracts before the Rite of Exile, we would also get this damage boost here from the Reckoning, which could then help us on the Immortal fight. That's pretty much self-explanatory. What's not self-explanatory is how to run the guild. So if you actually come over here and look at our spreadsheet, what we have done and devised is we've created a spreadsheet that kind of records all of our data. You can kind of see where we have our Prime Warband, all the data is there. And each leader has kind of made this their own. Granted, so what Veiled Shots looks like is slightly different than what mine looks like. When we go over to Golds, I've kind of compartmentalized mine so that it's all in one sheet, so that it's mobile friendly. But notice that we have the same basic principle of we're recording some stats that I'll explain to you. We have all the extra people that are not in a warband currently. We have where we've assigned people for their Rite of Exile fight, where the main battle is support 2. We've located everybody's warband. We've given everybody a leader role so that way they can kind of help us. There's a lot of organizational there. Now, what you should be aware of is there's certain numbers in the game that you can't just pick and say, this is what matters. Because unfortunately, even though people keep saying combat rating matters, it's the best thing in the game, it's not. You'll see my damage versus combat rating video, and it'll kind of explain it a little bit. I'm gonna have to do a revision 2.0 with some different gear to exaggerate it more, because some people are kind of failing to understand that just because you have a high combat rating does not make you the best player in the game. Combat rating really is not everything. Because when you're going against PvP, combat rating is irrelevant, other than the fact that, yes, you may be super tanky, but you may not be able to damage Joe Blow in front of you. So keep that in mind. So there's some things that we have recorded here that kind of simulate that, right? So we kind of came up with our own formula. Now, we came up with the formula of, one, you can see here, this right here is going to be our damage the person can do. This is going to be their life. This is going to be their resonance value, which does get multiplied into their damage into their life. This is going to be how many empowered gems they have, or awakened resonance gems, so to speak. So if they have a level 10 gem, that and then unlocks the resonance, right? So this is how many of those are, because those are impactful, because those unlock other skills on their legendary items, as well as it unlocks extra stats and damage boosts. That gives them an overall rating. Now, what is this rating? It's basically a number that we came up for with the power. It's essentially, we take the life of the character, and we take that number and we divide that by 10, a series of 10. Then we are going to go ahead and we're going to add the damage to that. And from that, we're going to take into the resonance effect, and the resonance is added. We're also going to take in the Paragon level, because as you grow in level, that gives you a different stat boost. And then we're gonna multiply all that by 500. Now, why the 500? I'm not exactly sure. I did remember what this was for, but I don't remember what it is for now. But we're taking basically our own formula, and we're utilizing that to figure out how much power someone actually has. The reason why we're doing this is because this will allow us to better gauge who's going to be better off for these types of fights. The Immortal fight and Rite of Exile fight, we know, is always one of two things. The activities for Shadow War, which, let me hide the spreadsheet here. The activities for Shadow War is always going to be a fight against one Immortal. So this means that your overall damage and working within a group is what really affects this. It's what really matters. So fighting in the Shadow War is different than fighting in the Rite of Exile. So we need to come up with a formula that's going to capture both Shadow War stats and Rite of Exile. How do you do this? By coming up with two different columns that we're recording. We're recording the PvP combat rating, which is actually going to be located on the character themselves, as well as our own power formula. And this power formula, you can make your own. You don't have to use what we did. Utilize what you think is best. If you just want to use combat rating, go for it. But be warned that combat rating does not mean that you're going to do extra damage to the Immortal. What about if you play good and the Immortal never hits you? Then you've nerfed yourself to the ground because your combat rating is so high, but it's so high because your life and your vitality are so high and your damage is so low. Did you actually do a lot of damage in the Immortal fight? No, you did not. So keep that in mind. That's why we come up with this special formula to kind of represent how much damage you're actually going to be doing against the Immortal. So I definitely advise you, make a sheet like this. If you would like a template like this, let me know. I would be happy to copy and paste this into a blank template and let you guys just go to town with it. And that way you have a resource like this that'll help you build your own clan. Even if you just want it for recording, like Discord numbers, battle nets, and game names, whatever, let me know down in the comments below and I will pin it, I will attach it, and that way you guys can kind of use a blank template for your own use. But I highly recommend it. This has been an invaluable resource for helping me run the guild because I update this, I see exactly where our power equation falls. I can quickly jive through all these numbers and I can say, okay, so-and-so is falling behind. Okay, well, why are they falling behind? Oh, their damage is low, or their life is low, or, oh, hey, you know, their Paragon level is super low. That's bad. We need to get them up. So then I message them and I say, hey, do you need some help? This is a good way to, it's like a health check for your guild, your clan. This is also good because as you update this once a week, you can kind of see how's everybody's progress going. Are they making forward progress? Are they staying stagnant? Or are they going downhill? Because I have seen people whose damage, I just updated someone's earlier today where their damage, they were at like 4,000 damage. They're at 3,200 now, but their life went up by 12K. So they sacrificed so much damage for life. Are they going to be any good to me in this fight? No, they got immediately shipped to support because they can't do anything for me. They're not going to do the damage. So that's why you need to kind of think of this in that aspect, and making tools like this really help you. Also notice that I've got a column here for, okay, are you going to be fighting in the Shadow War? Are you going to fight in the Rite of Exile? Are you going to be, as your stats updated? Do you have a shadow party? Do you have in the main battle? Are you making your groups ahead of time? So that way when people jump into that battle and they have the 20 minutes until it starts, do you already know who your party's going to be? Having resources like this made up and created can be extremely really good tools to help you really drive home how to run your guild and how to manage, micromanage, so to speak, a lot of those aspects of this game, especially if you're going to be competitive. Now, if you're not going to be competitive, most of what I said is not going to matter to you. But the part about the coming up with your own formula for power, that might. So hopefully that resonates with you. Hopefully that kind of stays with you and you can see this. I also took this and kind of figured out a formula as well where we just added them all up and divided it of an average of all these guys for the warband power average. And this way, say for example, you don't want to go this far into detail. Say you don't want to assign groups and you just want to go by warbands. That's totally fine. You do what you would like to do. But having this little average in here, what this allowed me to do is I could see, okay, who is the strongest team in our guild? Unfortunately, Whiskey, which is mine, is not the strongest. I've actually lost 2 members, which has dropped me down, dropped our average down quite a lot, but it's okay. We're gonna rebound. We're gonna go recruit a couple more and we're gonna have fun. Speaking of recruiting, if you are looking to get into Diablo Immortal, say you're watching this video, say you just started and you are curious and you want to be competitive, come join our server at aftershockunited.gg. Also, go to our website, diablopro.gg. We'll have a lot of resources on there. It's going to be a one-stop shop for all the resources for Diablo Immortal as we keep going with this game. And as you join our Discord, ping some of us. We'll be happy to find you a home. We currently have a spreadsheet that shows all of where we're located, who we have in our guilds, and we're pretty organized. We're pretty competitive, if you can't tell from our spreadsheet right here. Hang out, have fun with us. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helped you with running your own guild, getting prepared for Rite of Exile, getting prepared for Immortal. And yeah, if it did, leave comments down below. If it didn't, let me know what you want to see. And also, if you want a copy of the spreadsheet, let me know and I'll try to get you one. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.